Howdy everybody. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to live in a place that is dry as a desert for part of the year and a tropical paradise for the other part of the year? Well, Nicaragua is just such a place, particularly Matagalpa where we live. In Nicaragua we live in what is called the wet, dry tropics. And that means that part of the year it's very dry, the other part of the year it's very wet. Because of climate change, we don't get nearly as much wet as we used to. The temperature is much higher as well, and we get a lot more dry. The dry season has expanded. So we're now just going into a time in Nicaragua that is called the canicula. Basically, it means that we get a few weeks in the middle of the wet season, which we call winter, that are like the dry season. We're not there yet, but very soon we're going to enter into it. One of the ways you could tell is that the wind increases. We get a lot more wind during that time. But I wanted to show you just how big of a contrast it is. So if you look here, this is the area where the sheep used to enter to go up into the pasture. And this was completely bare. There was nothing here. And you could still see a couple bare spots, but that's basically because there's a lot of mulch on the ground there. And that's why there's bare spots. There's some Cameroon grass that's grown very tall. Here's Tithonia diversifolia all over the place. Here's a bush that we call here Trinitaria. I think in English they call this Bougainvillia. That is growing like crazy. There's grass all over the place. This is areas where the sheep were over here. And you can see the grass has come back very lush. There's a Lucana tree over there. More of the Cameroon grass that we planted last year and came back up. Cameroon grass is a variety of the Napier grass from Africa that is a perennial. A lot more of the Boton de Oro, that's what they call it here. The scientific name is Tithonia diversifolia. Here's the Mar alfalfa grass that you saw me a few weeks ago out here with the broad fork, softening up the dirt here so I could plant this grass. And lo and behold, here it is. It's grown up already. Over here, this is an area again where the sheep were grazing. There's an unbelievable amount of grass here after the sheep have been here. We planted a whole bunch of Napier grass in here. It's just starting to come up, so it's kind of difficult to see it. Here's an example of one of the young saplings of that grass, which will grow very tall. Here's more of it here. This is another one here. And we planted that all through here. And it goes all the way down, but there's all kinds of other stuff growing in there too. This is a big experiment. We don't know how well the Napier grass is going to grow in this area. So if we go up here, this is a young Gliricidia sepium tree growing up here. We have Gliricidia sepium all over the farm. Here's more of it. I plant more Gliricidia sepium every year because it's such an important tree for us. So all of this was basically like a desert here just a couple of weeks ago. There was nothing here. And look at it now. Here's the mother of all clumping grass. I don't know the variety of this grass, but we've used these big stands of clumping grass the past couple of years to help feed the sheep during the dry season because the grass still grows. But ultimately, it's not a good choice. Look at how lush this is. This is up to my waist, all of this grass. None of it was here just a couple weeks ago. It really is quite extraordinary. Here's something interesting. This grass here, for the last 2 years, has started to appear on the farm. We never had this grass here before, and it's a much thinner grass. I don't know what the name of it is. If anybody does, please tell me. But it's very encouraging to see this sort of thing popping up on the farm, and this is all over the place. Now, we're coming up into some of the silvopasture area. We have about 10 swales on the farm, and the swales, of course, are tree growing systems. And so you could see one of them right here. If you have a close eye, here's a guava tree here, here's another guava tree. We have those all over the place here on the farm. Here's more of the nitrogen fixer, what we call Madero Negro here. Gliricidia sepium is the scientific name. Right next to it is a mango tree. In between, you can't see it very well, but in between is a mamey sapote tree. And then there's more fruit trees and nitrogen fixing trees as you go on. There's a citrus over here and more mango. And then up above me is yet another swale that you can't see it quite as well from this vantage point. I'd have to get above so you can see it better and see the trees that are in there. But we have these swales here, and in another video I mentioned that these are all coincident with prime numbers. So the number of steps from the front door of the house that I have to take in order to reach one of the swales. And so there's 10 of them, and they're all based upon a prime number system. Because of course I'm autistic, I've mentioned that before, and have an obsession with prime numbers. And I like things to be ordered in that way. And here we have Junior. Junior's out here in the pasture area. Howdy there, Junior. Along the swale, there's another mamey sapote there. There's another guava, and there's another mango tree right next to it. And that looks like Sammy. Let's see if we can get a closer look here. Oh well, 4 of them are there. That's Sammy, Tommy, Kathy, and Junior. It's great having the sheep here on the farm because they really help us out. So I'm going to climb up here on the swale. Usually don't do this because we like to keep the ground on the swale as soft as possible. I don't have much choice right now. Here's a baby citrus right here. This is a mandarina. Mandarin orange. There's a whole row of citrus trees coming up through here. So my whole point in this video was the really strong contrasts that exist between the dry season, summer, and the wet season here in Nicaragua. And it makes it extremely challenging to farm. Here's a couple of young mango trees. So I wanted to come up here to the top of the farm to show you just what it looks like. What a beautiful view. What a beautiful panoramic view we have here when you get to the top. And sometimes it's hard for me to keep things into perspective. You know, we face a lot of challenges being here. It's not easy to have a farm here. And I get frustrated. And I say, oh my God, you know, we've been here for 10 years and we haven't accomplished anything. And we failed in a lot of areas. But let me just show you. If you look down below me here, there's a little bit of area of pasture here. And then the swale, and then more pasture, and then another swale. So it's a silvopasture design in between swales. Well, when we first came here, this entire farm, which is 8.5 acres, was barren. There was nothing here. Just rocks and hard dirt. There was nothing here. These trees, none of this was here. This whole forest over here that you can see, this forest wasn't here. It was flat. We planted that. It's mostly Gliricidia sepium trees, advanced in age. This is 10 years of Gliricidia sepium being planted and growing in there. And so, as you can see, we've changed this from a rocky desert into a paradise, a green paradise, a beautiful ecosystem. So I just wanted to take a short break and show you around the farm a little bit. I really haven't done that to any great degree, and I've only kind of scratched the surface. I haven't really gotten into much specifics here on the farm, but just to give you an idea of where the farm is and where we're located and how beautiful it is to see this. You know, whenever I feel depressed or I feel frustrated, I come up here to the top of the farm and I look down on everything and I could see everything that we've accomplished. It's very easy to say we haven't done much, but from this perspective here, we've done an unbelievable amount of work and accomplishment. So please let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this in the comments, or anything else you'd like me to do. Let me know what you want to see. You can help me to choose topics for the videos, and I'd appreciate that very much. So anyway, with that said, I'm going to sign off, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching.